It might be a couple of minutes late to YouTube, so that's fine. Top of the morning, traders. Welcome to the Most Value Pack Live Trading Show, where we live trade, break down charts, cover high impact events, and talk trader mindset. Hope everyone had a great day yesterday. Is ready to kick off another opportunity-filled day. The market is selling off. We did get a red folder catalyst in pre-market. We do have a red folder catalyst coming up at 10 o'clock. First things first, take a look at the IV before you start pulling the trigger. If you're a first-time viewer, let us know where you're joining from. Long-time viewers, take the next steps and join our community. And right off the bat, we're gapping down and selling off, synchronized selling between SPY, Qs, and the Dow. SPY, Qs, and the Dow, we're seeing some synchronized selling there. And someone put the IV in the chat for me. I know what the IV is, okay, but someone put the IV in the chat. Take a look at the contracts. Okay, take a look at the contracts. Take a look at the contracts. Okay, you're paying 45% more basically. All right, so in this kind of situation, you're going to have to be very, very cautious or use very little size. All right. VIX is out of here. VIX is out of here. We're trading below 680. We have that PML. We have that 680. See, we get great separation away from there. Qs are below PML. Look what's bouncing. IW is bouncing. The Dow is bouncing. Let's see if we get that for our first 5 minutes here. Okay, let's see what takes place. 5-minute orb army. One thing you need to take into consideration is the cost of the contracts. Cost of the contracts is what you need to take into consideration. Okay, cost of the contracts. Okay, look at this sell-off, guys. We continue to sell off. We continue to sell off. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, good morning, good morning. IV is 45%. We're moving $1.46 per 5-minute candle. So those 0 DTEs are basically the same as two DTEs. Okay. Maybe 1 DT in the money and 2 DTEs, couple points out the money. That's what they're selling for. All right, so manipulation. And this is just chart awareness, situational awareness, experience. Most traders, they just come into the day. All right, they're not really paying attention to that. And that can be really damaging, okay? So we're already at basically daily downside target. We're already at basically daily downside target. Strikers, we do have this level up here for that retrace reject. All right, we do have BOG. We have daily open. Daily open and BOG are going to be the same. As soon as we opened up, we just dumped. As soon as we opened up, we just dumped. Of course, we have that PML right there. See if the Qs can start grabbing PML. The Dow's showing some signs of life. We're in the heart, guys, in the heart of that bound zone. So if we can go hammer out of here, get back above that. We'll make this the daily open. Okay, that has precedence. Get back above that. Get back above that daily open. See if there's some buying there, dip buying. And if you don't take a trade today, that's not a bad thing. Okay? You're playing defense. Tomorrow's Friday. It's been a great week. Pick your spots. We do have, of course, 10 o'clock. We do have Joe's at 10 o'clock. 5-minute orb army. 20 more seconds, 20, 30 seconds left. Okay, the Qs are testing that PML. The Dow just fell off a cliff. The Dow said good night. Now the Dow is starting to give up those gains. Look at the VIX, guys. The VIX is at 22, 21, 22. 21, 22. So if we got the 50% retrace of that, that's our G50. All right. Okay, retrace reject here. If we get a shooter, we did take out that orb high. All right. We do go hammer there. That 15-minute candle is looking very hammerish off that key zone. If you took it off that key zone, you had the conviction to do it. Things lined up. Maybe you're in, maybe you're not. But again, patience is going to be the name of the game today, guys. Patience. Patience, patience, patience. See if we get that daily downside breaker, retrace, reject. I see no problem here. Sound is okay? Okay, how's the sound on YouTube? Let's get the likes up on YouTube, guys. Make sure to smash the like button. Smash the like button. First move will not be more 100%, right? So I have to always, especially with these conditions, guys, you need to, precision is required. There's no room for error. All right, especially if you're just using regular size with contracts with this much IV on those contracts. All right, and us moving $1.40 per 5-minute candle, absolute precision is required. All right, so I want to see if we can get a nice retrace reject out that 681.75. We did come back and tap here. We trapped some of those participants there. See if we get back below that PML. Qs did get back above PML. Went to go visit a VWAP, rejected off that VWAP territory and the wave. Okay, we're getting nice. Look at this. Nice little bounce off PML possibly. We'll see. VWAP was right at 681, 681.61. We're in the jaws of the gap now. We're officially in the jaws of the gap. 681.61. Okay, buyers, buyers, buyers. Did buyers jumping in here. I want to see how we interact with that daily downside breaker. And we're starting to see the VIX. VIX spiked into 22.11. It's at 21.45. So we're starting to see the VIX move a little lower here. We're starting to see the VIX move lower. QQQ is right here, down here. So strikers, this is QQQ. This is the Dow. This is IWM, and this is SPY. And of course, this is our SPY breakdown chart. Okay, so nice little push up here. Nice little push up. Now we're in the jaws of the gap. We are in the jaws of the gap. We're above the dead downside breaker. Nice little bounce off that zone. See if we can hold above that dead downside breaker. See if you can hold above that daily downside breaker. All right, so right off that bounce zone. Do we have enough fuel to get us above VWAP? Do we have enough fuel to do all those things? To do all those great things. VIX is starting to fade just a little bit. Take off PO3. We know that the daily open is already. We're moving and grooving. The IV did tick a little lower. Was at 45. It's at 43 now. 42 now. Okay, the Qs are starting to move. The Qs are above VWAP. So once it got back above that daily open, 680.94. Who's out of here? Oh, that's not QQ. Yeah, you're right. That is not QQQ. Hold on. Yeah, thank you, Kelly. Here's QQQ. All right, VIX is starting to slide. So the Qs are above VWAP. The Dow's still below VWAP. IWM was the one in the lead. See if you can get back below that daily downside breaker. See if you can get a nice little spike on the VIX. The VIX starts to fold. We can possibly start working our way to 683.42. Good catch. Okay, so Jolts, keep in mind, guys, Jolts at 10 o'clock. Jolts at 10 o'clock. Unemployment claims came in higher, right? Previous reading was 209. Forecast 212, 231. That's a pretty big miss. It's a big difference. And we do have that G50 right here. So VIX falling, Q's going, SPY above that daily open. We still have a few minutes left for that orb candle on the 15, that 5-minute orb candle aligned with that 680.94. If we can break below that daily downside breaker, I'm looking at the 680s. Going a little further out on those puts. I need everything to simultaneously sell off, and I want the VIX to start waking up. All right? I don't want to front run anything. I want to see a clear break below this territory. If we can get that, then I can possibly start to take it back to downside. Okay, let's see if we get that retrace reject. Okay, get one little bounce. Okay, I'll take it right there. Take the puts. I'm in the puts, risk being these candles highs. Give it about 15%, 10-15%. Down 11. That was quick. See if we can hold this. No close above here. These are moving fast. Down 14, down 15. If we close above that box, I got to close out. Need the VIX to start pushing here. About to get stopped out on that first one. Can't get that close. See if we get that continued push lower. Okay, need that break here. If we get above it, then I got to get out of there. Okay, got to get out. So stopped out there. 17, 18. So gave it a shot there. All right, wanted to see if we could get that retrace reject. Couldn't get it. VIX still going lower. I didn't have a lot of room to operate. Had to get out of there. So I stopped out in the first one. So the contracts are moving. They're not moving too bad. They're moving okay. All right, but that was my window to operate. Very tight window to operate. Not a lot of room for error. Now we're at that G50 now. So now we're working our way back into the jaws of the gap. We're getting that 50% point. Maybe waiting for that VIX to show some signs of buying. Would have been good. We're seeing a lot of strength here. That buy zone holding up beautifully. That bounce zone holding up beautifully. We're at that G50 now. 10 o'clock, we have the orb coming up in 1 minute. Orb coming up in 1 minute. So it just takes one candle. That's how quickly price is moving. That's how quickly things are moving. So we're above POC. We're above that VWAP. We're coming into that G50. What I was looking for here is that nice little continued break to the downside. But that buy block, buyers held that up. Now starting to push higher. And we couldn't really get a crack of the support. Inside count on the 5. Inside candle on the 5. So now what I'm solving for here is, do we have enough fuel? Do we have enough fuel based off of what we saw there? Based off of that rejection here to slide us lower. The VIX continues to fall. Everything is pumping. 15-minute OR your level lines up with this 683.42. 683.42, your level lines up with that. And too wide. I can't make the stop that wide. So 15-minute OR your time to shine is up there. 683.35 actually. 683.35. $683.35. So Ripple Army, be on watch. Just know that level coincides closely with that 683.42, which is the 50% retrace. The Q's orb is 608.19, so you get to see if we get a simultaneous break. IW's out of here. IW 261.22 is that orb break. And IW is headed towards PMH. IW is headed towards PMH. So those contracts, just to give you some idea of how quickly things are moving, I got those contracts at 260, and they're now at 190. All right, 260, 190. That's basically, if you continue to hold, that's basically minus $70 per contract. That's why managing that risk is so vitally important. So vitally important. So right there, 604.19 is the breaker on the Qs. Do we start to slide now? Okay, the Q's starting to fade after breaking. If you're waiting after 10 o'clock, right, you're still waiting. Chop around between that 683.42, 681.75. Make sure to like the video on YouTube, guys. Make sure to like the video. 2 red trades, both calls couldn't hold through the dips. Yeah, that's moving very fast. So again, if you're trading at this current time, guys, it's very important that you keep your risk management top priority. All right, now is not the time to hold longer than you need to. All right, I already took a trade here, got stopped out for the puts. And I can't make that stop minus $70, $80 per contract. All right, that's not it's not a good stop. Okay, so let's see now if we can start to slide. If we can start to slide to the downside, VIX starts to wake up, I can be there for it based off of the fuel of this 50. Okay, based off of the fuel from this 50. If we just blast past that, then now we have this nice runway into 684.82. 684.82. Make sure to like the video on YouTube, guys. Make sure to like the video on YouTube. Let's get the likes up. We got 33 people joining us. If you're a first-time viewer, let us know where you're joining from. Long-time viewers, take the next steps. Join our community for the delay-free, ad-free stream, along with access to a ton of resources. And help us get to 3K. So we need your help to get to 3K subs. We're about 200 subs away. Very doable by the end of the month. Okay, the Qs. See, the Qs can blast past that 604.19. That's the Qs orb, 15-minute. See if they can blast. New 5-minute candle across the board. We're above VWAP. We're above POC. Okay, there goes the ripple. Ripple on the Qs, ripple on SPY. Ripple on the Qs, ripple on SPY. Okay, the IV starting to come a little lower, which is good. IV's starting to come a little lower. We're still making those, keeping the integrity of this nice uptrend. We're still making higher lows, higher highs. No holds yet. No holds yet. All right, so this level will be critical. If we can get a shooter on the 5, that looks appealing. The VIX continues to fall off a cliff, guys. The VIX is at that 2056. If the VIX starts to work its way to 20, gets below 2050. All right, that's going to help that continued push. That's going to help that continued push. Check on the chat real quick. Okay, let's see what takes place here. I'm on board to re-engage. I'm on board to re-engage the same setup that I took earlier. I like how the Qs are dumping here. The VIX just needs to wake up. We went 3 down. 3 down, so we're getting a lot of fuel off of that 683.42 rejection. A lot of fuel off of that rejection. A lot of fuel off of it. Let's see if this 5-minute candle can remain the way it is. This is getting close to jolts, right? So it's getting close to jolts. 3 down on the Qs, 3 down on SPY. Hold below POC VWAP would be great. Extra layer of confirmation. If we already took that rejection off this here, took the most amount of risk. All right, you're doing well for yourself. See if you get that break. If we can get that break, I'll look to re-engage. On that nice break. Okay, I like how the VIX is starting to wake up. Want that break at that level. I have about 8 minutes to operate. Okay, new candle here. So let's see the VWAP. So we don't want the buyers stepping off VWAP. So there's a natural response to VWAP and POC. I like how the VIX is starting to wake up. So this 5-minute candle needs to lean towards being in a full engulfing, not a doji. If it's a doji, it means that we're getting some buyers here and we can start chopping around between these two zones. Right? We can't sit through any chop in these kind of conditions. All right, chop is not going to be favorable. Okay, I like that last 1-minute candle. See if we can continue push. Looking at the same contracts. This time the VIX is starting to wake up. Okay, I'll take it right there. So I'm back in. See if we get that continued push. Want us to break that VWAP. Same kind of risk. Okay. We didn't break VWAP yet. That 5-minute candle is still up for grabs. Kind of ahead of that 5-minute candle. So I need the VIX to continue to go. I need the Qs to continue to go. Did see a little bit of green. Single digits. So I need this thing to collapse below that level. Okay, go, go, go. Okay, up 7, up 8. Go, go, go. Up 10. Up 11. Take a majority off right there. Okay, down to runners. We need that hole below it. Need this 5-minute candle here to break those lows. Break those lows. Right, the view up is right there. That's what's concerning, right? The view up is right there. We have 5 minutes from jolts. So we need that 5-minute candles low to get broken for this to continue. Okay. To take majority off at 10. Okay, up 17, up 15. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. See if that continue push. TP where you need to, guys. Up 15. TP where you need to. TP where you need to. Okay, the Qs are falling as well. That daily open is coming, so we might see some buyers off that daily open. So we need no buyers there. Up 17, 18. We might get a response. We want no response off that structural break. If we get buyers there, I have to close out. Up 19. I want continued selling here. 21, 22. There we go. Okay, I'm taking majority off right there. I'll close out right there at 22. Okay, so these puts worked in our favor. The other ones got stopped out. Probably it's going to continue to slide if you still have those runners. Just be mindful in 4 minutes we have jolts. Okay, so it was able to recover some of that stop out. But you can see the two setups completely same setup, but different profile. Meaning the VIX was working in my favor this time. This time kind of just trying to front run. Everything's kind of dumping here. Just be mindful that the VIX is there. Not the VIX, the JOLTS data is there. JOLTS be coming up shortly. Okay? And you want to take that. If you took that, great job on being patient. This is primarily fueled by this key levels rejection. Continue to push the downside. Nice double-digit TP opportunity after structurally breaking here. So these puts stopped out. These puts worked in our favor. All right, but the TP's that daily open. I don't want to give back that double-digit appreciation. All right, so that's why I TP'd right there. Can it continue to push lower? Sure. Right, but what are we up against? 3 minutes away from jolts. Okay, 3 minutes away from jolts. And you want to take that? If you took that, put a $sign in the chat. So the contracts are moving nicely, but they have a cost to them. That's why I went further out. Okay, that's why I went further out. Okay. Yeah, that's 50% level again. Beautiful job, beautiful job, beautiful job, hero. I think here I just got a little overexcited. All right, a little overexcited, but again, just because you get overexcited doesn't mean you have to compromise your risk. You can say, hey, George, you could have expanded your risk, right? It's not best practice for me individually, for my setups, to sit through $70, $80 per contract to drawdown. All right, to me, that doesn't justify any kind of setup. I'd rather cut it, reassess, reassess, and reengage if it's still valid. If you're still holding, good, good, good. Took a single contract, 15%. Beautiful job, Firefly. Good, good, good. If your stop was wider, maybe you can sit through that and it works out. This is crazy. At point I was up I was up 600, closed at 86. Yeah, the movement is crazy. But the ideas are there, just the external conditions. But when you guys go back and review, all right, I want you to take this particular sequence and I want you to identify the difference between the conditions here and the difference between the conditions here. All right, that would be some great homework for you to review. All right, why it worked here, why it didn't work here, and why it worked here. Right? And what the difference was. I still took both. I still liked it there. But in this case, I'm trying to avoid front running but I still want to try to front run there, and I got stopped out. In this case, we're coming off that key level, 50% retrace reject. Okay, we get that rejection. Once we get rejection off of that, we have enough fuel to structurally break the support. We break that support. Okay, here's jolts. We break that support. Be very careful, guys. Make sure you take your profits. Anything can happen, can go either way. And then we start to slide. That's when we get involved. Jolt data just came in. This can go either way. Can go either way. Okay, so this segment right here is going to be critical to go back and review. No trade so far. View up EMAs, yearly low, etc. There. The last entry been 1-1. Good, good, good. So my issue the past, I would say not issue, challenge has been the runners. Okay, usually runners I let them go, but again I think it's because we're still early in the month, and I'll be more flexible with those runners. Just give you some context. The last entry was 223. Those contracts are 323. Okay, they're up $100 per contract, and I'm giving you that context not to give you FOMO, but to show you the power of options trading. Okay, the power of the ideas. If you understand these concepts, you can apply this on your own. Okay. So this was the dead cat bounce, nice retrace reject. Bigger picture, there's going to be a wick off that level. Okay, bigger picture is going to be a wick off that level. So coming into the day, right, we talked about, hey, if we're going to be short, let this thing pump a little bit. Okay. And my area to get it was there, but this is the ideal area. Anyone still holding runners? If you are, great job. You had to sit through some back and forth. You had to sit through a little bit of, you had to sit through a red folder catalyst. Man, those runners are gone, guys. They're about to be 350. Power of options. Power options. How we doing, guys? Yep, contracts are very expensive today. So we discussed that with our team. I want you guys to get used to, folks on YouTube, to looking at the options chain before you take any trades. See if anything looks unusual. If it does, it's probably because the IV is higher than normal. What's normal? Take a look at the HV. So understanding the difference between HV and IV is going to be critical. Is it going to help you from the technical standpoint? No. This is mechanical knowledge you need to know. Right? It's the mechanics of trading. We're moving to $1.68 per 5 minute candle. $1.68 per 5 minute candle. And that's the collapse. That's the collapse. And now we're at those lows. We're at those lows. VIX is going. Q's selling off. SPY falling off a cliff. We did get JOLTS data. Again, high stakes game. I'm going to emphasize that, guys. So your entry has to be precise. Yep, ATR is also high. Great point. Great point. Let's get the likes up on YouTube. Let's get the likes up on YouTube. If you're just joining us, last trade here. Puts, stopped out, and it worked out. 168. Is that you, doctor? On YouTube? 1968. If it is, hope all is well. Yep, and you're absolutely right? The reason why contracts are expensive, ATR, IV, VIX. See if we can get that push into the other side of the orb. So in this case, the orb traders, the Ripple traders, okay, they got stopped out here if they don't manage risk accordingly. So even for the Ripple army, we said, hey, just be careful. Overhead, we have that 683.42. All right. But if you just take it, you manage risk accordingly, then you just get stopped out. If you don't, when you lose, there's two options. Either get stopped out or wiped out. You choose. Okay, you get to choose the two ways you're going to lose. You get to choose the two ways you're going to lose. Stop out or wipe out. In this game, you cannot get wiped out. In the beginning, you're going to get wiped out. But what I mean wiped out is that's it. Your account is gone. All right? So if you just get stopped out, you look for the next opportunity. And now on the other side, the orb is starting to break down as well. So this sell-off is going to continue. Like for top G50 first date, I have the morning off. Want to see a couple of trades. Yeah, the IV is wild. If you know, you know, right? If you know, you know when to get involved, when not to get involved. And this is where the separation comes in, all right? The separation between pure technical analysis traders and the ones who understand mechanics and the ones who understand technical analysis, all right? Technical analysis is not enough. It's not enough. You need to understand the mechanics as well. Okay, we're at the very lows there. We swept those highs earlier. That PM8 of that orb. Now we're at the lows of the orb, 678, 77. So now that the jolt state is basically fuel. So the question you have to ask yourself now is, do we have enough weakness for you essentially to short support? Shorting support can work, but do we have enough weakness based on where we're coming from for us to even go a little further? Man, I don't even want to look at those contracts. Those contracts. Okay, let's take a look at them. 360. I mean, I wouldn't have held anyways because of jolts. The Qs are coming into orb as well. 597.35. If you're just joining us on YouTube, make sure to like, make sure to subscribe. How are we doing, strikers? How are we doing, guys? Okay, let's see if we can handle form to build liquidity. Beautiful. So you see one of our traders, okay? One of our orb traders on our team. Right, he trades the orb very well. Right here, he got stopped out. It was just another trade. There's a handful of traders who learn the orb. Maybe on YouTube, they pull up a video, and they're overly optimistic from that strategy, and they don't have the proper mechanisms in place to mitigate the losses. Okay, dangerous. It's tough. This is a tough one to sit through because here I was down just from here to here. Just from here to here, I was down 17, 18%. And I'm usually Mr. 10, 15%. Right? But I had to kind of make it a little bit wider because of the conditions. Right? Just to give it a little bit of breathing room to see if we can get that last little drop. And that's just within less than 2 minutes. So if this is 18%, this is going to be 70, 80, 90%. Okay, so that's why it's so important to manage that risk. All right. Man, that break, this was the idea. So you can see structurally. All right, I really want to emphasize this. Okay, it's to reiterate it to myself, right? Selfishly, and it's also to let you guys know as well. All right, the difference, this was more patient. Same setup. This was a little front running. Front running pays off at times. If you are going to front run, you're going to have to manage risk very tightly. So you can see the difference in this, on that 1 minute structure, we're existing in this 5 minute candle. Still some buying left. We get that shooter, fall back below, and we finally start breaking down. Now, the ones who trade the reversals, they're probably saying, hey, you know what? I got a nice little hammer here. Okay, I got a nice little hammer here. See if I can take it back to the upside. We swept lows. Okay. Okay, so there's a lot of traders who trade those reversals. And all you got to do is just wait for that break before it breaks the lows. If it breaks the lows, then there's no reversal. Sold the put just in time, 20%. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job. There we go. Retrace reject. So now the Ripple army is in there. Retrace reject army is in there as well for the wave. If we drop down to the 1, you can see it. All right. Now let's see if we can continue to push lower. Folks in the Discord, if you haven't checked out the Shockwave 15 series, make sure to go through that. That's a 9-part series where we break down the best way, the best framework to apply to momentum trading, especially when it comes to range break strategies. Those puts, again, I'll have to find another way to enter this. Again, so what's our way to enter this? Okay. So I'll pose that question to the chat, to everyone on YouTube, to everyone in our Discord. So we see this structural break. We see price just falling off a cliff. So what can we do? What are some things we can do if we still want to go short? Right? What are some things we can do? What are some things we can do? A, of course, scenario A, buy puts here. We can always do that. All right, we can always just buy. That's no problem. You can always do that. B is let it sell and let it create some sort of flag and then start breaking down. Anywhere. C is let it come to a level and use that level to gauge the breakdown. Man, the VIX is out of here, guys. VIX is out of here. Everything is looking very, very weak. That retrace reject to my orb army, if you caught that, beautiful job. Next level below us, 675.52. What a collapse. Those puts for 442 now. So some areas I'm looking at, of course, is here. So this is just to get the bulls trapped. Okay, this is just the trap of the bulls. The orb is here. Wave, beautiful wave turning into tsunami. Okay. And the next key level is here. What a drop, guys. What a drop. If you're a diamond hand trader, you're going to really enjoy these ideas. And this thing just falls off a cliff. Look at that, guys. Orb army. So this is a compound orb. There's both the 5 and the 15. The VIX shot out of a rocket. Synchronized selling. Time to walk away 100%. Beautiful job, guys. Up 40%. Good, good, good. Now look at that. Just like that. You see? That's why it's so important to take profits. And that candle comes in. Even though the VIX is ripping, right? That candle just comes in. That's just a shakeout, manipulation. All right. I mean, this week, these candles are moving with vengeance. Okay, they're moving with ill intent. So profit takers win. Ones who try to hold it more, stopped out. See if this last push is legitimate. See what the Qs are doing. Okay, Qs are going back to orb. This can be a retrace reject. I'll wait into second shift here. We're smashing into the waves. Smashing into the waves. See if we get a shooter of some sort off that daily downside target, or that 678.76. Reversal traders are looking for this. They need that candle's high to get taken out. Not so much of a hammer, but just a 2 down, 2 up reversal. These lows are already swept. Those lows have been swept already. All right, looks like we're headed back to the orb. Looks like we're headed back to the orb. VIX is at 22.62, above 22. Okay. So you get that nice little retrace reject off that level. Nice little retrace reject. Qs are also at the orb as well. Do we reclaim or do we retrace reject here? Put in the chat. Do we get back above it or do we reject right off this level? Back above it or reject? If we do reject, we need to break these lows. Okay, looks like we're rejecting there. Nice little retrace reject. We're starting to see the VIX fade slightly. Okay, now that 5-minute candle. We got one bullish 5-minute candle. Is there enough bulls on that 5 to really propel us forward? Break above that 678.57, higher risk. Reversal is there, but you're going against the grain. If you're looking for a higher risk bounce, sweep of those lows, price action combo 676.52. If you took that retrace reject, manage accordingly. Okay. That retrace reject coincides with the key level along with the waves and the Dow falling off a cliff. So if you miss that entire push lower, this is your area where you need to be. You have to have your thinking cap on. You have to start seeing, okay, what's going on? Okay, if I do take it, if I do go short here, what's my defined risk? Is it above this wick? Is it above this level? So on and so forth. So far on the daily, we've taken out how many targets? We've taken out two targets within the first hour, close to the first hour of the day. Close to the first hour of the day. Yesterday's angry candle got me good. Yeah, these candles, right? As long as you're managing risk, everyone on YouTube, everyone in the Discord, you guys already know. But anyone who's just joining for the first time, we need to continuously reiterate the importance of risk management. Okay, if you're taking risk, if you're managing risk, you're defining risk, right? It's just the cost in doing business. If the risk is open-ended, then it's tough. It's tough. And eventually you just learn, right? You're just going to learn. Eventually you'll learn. So another rejection with that wick. See if that structure fails. We're starting to see the Qs reject off that orb as well. The Dow falling off a cliff. All right, that final target is 676.52. 676.52. $100%, doctor. All right. We said these conditions are scary. You can have an entry that's good and any other day, but with the wick, just one wick, 1 or 2 wicks, you get shaken out. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful job, Arthur. That's how we do it, guys. Extract your profits and walk away. Okay, good. This week, if this is your first time navigating through these conditions, okay, this week is going to be, it's going to test us. It's going to test our ability to navigate the mechanics. It's going to test a lot of things. It's going to test a lot of things. So if you can withstand this week, all right, the storm will pass. The storm will pass. And I always say it, and I'll always keep saying it. Okay, as a trader, you have to be built to withstand this. You have to build yourself up to be able to withstand whatever the market throws at you, especially as day traders. Don't think day traders are the only ones that are having a hard time. Swing traders are getting annihilated as well. But we have the hardest job. As market participants, we have the hardest job because we operate on the lowest time frame. All right. And with that being said, and there's probably no one that knows SPY as much as us, or very few people that know SPY as much as us, because we watch it every single day on the lowest time frame. Again, look at that rejection. Okay, this candle, just to give you some context, guys, this one candle is $1. All right, that one candle is $1. Okay, that one candle is $1. So what that means is, traditionally, if you're short off of this retrace reject, right? If you're down to runners, you can sit through it. That's okay. It didn't get violated. All right, but what that means is we usually move $1 per 5-minute candle, and that's still considered high ATR. We're doing that in one candle. Okay, so one sporadic candle gets that kind of movement. Okay, now we're at this key level, that monthly downside breaker. This is big. This is huge. If we take this out, guys, SPY will be directional to the downside of the month, taking out December's low, taking out January's lows. This is huge. All right, so now this is huge. That sell-off, 3 to 5% correction, can be on its way. Okay, as day traders, wherever it is, we can make something out of it. All right, any strikers take advantage of that. If you did, you had to sit through a lot of back and forth. If your entry is in that territory, most of you already TP'd. If you're down to runners, manage accordingly. We're at that target. See if you get some buyers to step in here. If no buyers step in here, 675, here we come. A nice structural break on the one. Nice structural break on the one as well. The Q's falling off. A broad market sell-off here. Broad market sell-off. Broad market sell-off. 40% down for the day. Huge. This was cool move. ES, the hourly completed waiting in the call. But thank you, George, on your topic of liquidity and support level. Starting to learn a little bit more on that kind of setup and holding these longer, but got burnt a little bit. But it's growing pain, 100%. Growing pain is absolute right. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's what a lot of trading is. So see if buyers step up here off that target. I'm going to wait the second shift. So we can clearly see there's some major resistance up ahead. And that's tied to this 678.18. And look at that bounce. Okay, so rejection there, high risk bounce there. Off that 670.652. So if we can't at least get a bounce back into this territory, that further supports that we have a lot of weakness here. If we just zoom out for just a second, guys, look at this team. We discussed this in detail in our pre-market prep stream. So now we are outside of this channel. We're headed towards 3% correction or 3% pullback. Right? Things are starting to heat up. Things are starting to heat up now on the daily. All right. Well, what's up for grabs? Let me show you what's up for grabs. That monthly. Already bullet, already bearish. We just took that out today. So this is our first bearish monthly candle. Still early in the month. We still have 22 days left. So it's very possible for this bearish monthly candle to turn into this, into a hammer. But as of now, say if the month ended today, this is bearish as can be going to March. Right? And does the market have PTSD? Does it have March and April PTSD from what took place last year? Okay. All right, we all know what took place last year. If you just started trading this year, 2026, last year, the tariff announcement, tariff situation was taking place, and the market had some of the most aggressive reactions we've seen in decades. All right, and I mean that literally, maybe even quarter century type of reaction. A $40 pump to the upside on SPY. You're not going to see that very often. And we were able to witness that, trade that, navigate that, and go back and watch that episode. Literally $40, $45 or $46 in one day. That was how wide the range was. A few days before that, it was $10, $15, $20, $30. For a good 3 to 5 days, it was complete madness. And during that time, all right, for the ones who navigated through those conditions with me, during that time, the IV was at 150. Okay, so the longer you do this, the more you become built for this. All right, so we're built for whatever the market throws. All right, so you need to either have the ability, get yourself to that level, or surround yourself with people who have the ability to navigate. We're going lower. Watching Twitter. Yeah, that was the indicator, right? Everyone was just basically, that's the whole reason why I put the breaking news feed into the Discord. All right, so that's synced up to the POTUS account on X. That's synced up to the Truth Social account. So if anything comes up, it goes through there. All right, there goes the monthly. Nice little dead cat bounce that pushes back the upside. Not enough to make any significant strides. And 675, here we go. My goodness. We're officially in second shift. Okay, officially second shift. You don't even want to look at those puts. Okay, you don't want to look at those puts. You don't want to look at them. So it was the 680s at that time. They're $500. Okay, it's not anything too crazy, but you have to sit through a lot of pain. And again, when you take your profits, right, you don't have a lot of headache. All the headaches are just a what if, right? But there's no real repercussions of a what if headache. See if we can sweep first shift lows. Well, right at first shift lows, we have that 675. Do we slice and dice right through that territory there? That'd be something. The Qs are headed towards first shift lows. The Dow just broke, so we're seeing a broad market sell-off, guys. This broad market sell-off, we did grab first shift lows. See if there's any signs of life here. No signs of life. No signs of life. We had that 212 here. Once that 212 broke, really started to fall off a cliff. And look at that. We're below that monthly downside breaker. We'll continue to sell off. Sell the rips look at the monthly candle wick. At minimum, we're going there, that monthly target. Now, look at the VIX. Yeah, so that monthly target 1 is here. All right, and then the monthly target 2 is all the way here. At 671.13, that's the monthly downside target. All right, yeah, we can make our way there. Not sure if by today, do we have enough pressure? Those unemployment numbers didn't look good. The JOLTS numbers didn't look good either. So that doesn't help our case. Okay, that does not help our case at all. So as we get into the 670, low 670s, between 670 and 675, all right, there's some bigger picture support in that territory. We have that 100 EMA. We have these lows from mid-December, right, below us. And we'll get to that 3% correction territory. 3% pullback, okay? So what did we say this morning? We were saying, hey, could be early, but if we get broad market selling, that could lead to a 3 to 5% pullback. What was going to be our indicator to get that broad market selling? If what had strength, the Dow, showed signs of weakness. That's exactly what took place. Okay, we got that breakdown on the Dow. Everything else already weak. Look at Bitcoin, guys. Bitcoin, good night. 66K. All right. Bitcoin is going to be hibernating for a while. But if you're a Bitcoin maxi, you're loving these opportunities. All right. If you have the right entry, if you live, breathe, and eat Bitcoin, okay, your entry should be. You should have a good entry, and you would be adding. Let's see if we get that reclaim after sweeping first shift lows. At least back at that resistance. It is a clear downtrend. Clear downtrend. Again, guys, make sure to like the video. Make sure to subscribe. MSTR does report earnings today as well. MSTR does report earnings today as well. We have that hourly candle. Keep in mind, we're direction on the hourly candle to the downside. We swept those lows. Do we have enough fuel? Do we have enough fuel to push higher and make a legitimate run at that 678.18? Do we have enough fuel? Okay, if we have enough fuel, that would be great. I like how the Qs are. I like how the VIX is selling off here. Love that sweep. All right, not for a reversal of this entire move, but just to maybe a push into 678.18. 5 minutes still up for grabs. And adjust the wave. At least gravitation back towards that 5 minute for a 5 minute attempt at a dead cat bounce. Okay, we're breaking that resistance here. Do we have enough fuel is the question. Okay, we swept first shift's lows. We swept that monthly downside breaker. Prior month lows. And are those monthly participants engaging? And look at that, they're starting to step in. If you did take that reclaim of 670, 652, manage accordingly. If you're done for the day, be done. Be done for the day, all right? Tomorrow's Ramp Down Friday. It's all good, Tujin. 1 3 trades green, emotions flaring, so I'm done for the day. Going to take a break from prop firms, back to sim trading. Too stressful. I took half a dozen contracts green on all but 2, done for the day. 1 trade minus 40, second trade minus 26, done with cash account. Again, guys, the way you manage today's activity is going to be critical for the rest of the month. All right, so don't be too discouraged if you're getting stopped out. Right, don't let the frustration start mounting. This is the hardest type of condition to trade. It doesn't get harder than this. All right, so sometimes it's good to see this kind of activity because you know what normal looks like. Right? We can never know what normal looks like if normal just exists in a vacuum. How do we know what's good if there's no bad? Right? So now you know this is what the most difficult conditions look like. By default, you have an idea of what normal conditions are like in comparison to this. And I wouldn't be surprised if brokers start acting funny. They love to do that when this kind of activity takes place. All right, so be careful. Brokers can start acting funny. The last time we had this kind of activity, it's been some time. I had a hard time getting filled. If you recall, during that time as well, the Webull's options chain froze. Right, so whenever we get this infusion of volatility, infusion of accelerated price activity, right, the brokers start acting funny. Okay, to put it lightly. Okay, what a grab of those lows. So that nice little territory here, that grab, do we have now? We broke this downward compression. Can we get past this resistance? If we get past this resistance, that would be significant. It probably looks like it wants to seek that view up all the way at 679.86, so that this is still technically a dead cat bounce. We have not shifted the structure quite yet. If we shift these highs, we can see something along those lines. If we can kind of just reject off of that and come back in, maybe form a right shoulder. Okay, but if we blast past this, all those monthly participants are here. So let's see if we run out of fuel in this territory here. And on cue, of course, the VIX is sliding to the downside. So what the one encouraging thing is, guys, the market is synchronized. So it's synchronized buying, synchronized selling across all the indexes. They're moving in unison. So that can give you a good read as well. So if all of them are moving in a certain direction, more than likely, you don't want to go against that direction. All right. So in this case, if you're waiting for that shooter or that hammer to the downside, that inverted hammer, got to continue to wait. Keeping a close eye on that 678.18. Probably have one more trade in me. See if that 5-minute candle can go shooter, get back below POC, 677.19. How we doing? Folks on YouTube? Make sure to like the video. We got 44 people joining us on the check-in. If you're a first-time viewer, we go live every single day at 9:30 a.m. Live trading SPY and providing market commentary throughout the day. All right, so we'll be live until 11:30, 12 o'clock-ish, and then we'll wrap up there, and then we'll go to our private stream for the extended stream. If that 5-minute candle can go shooter, we're seeing multiple rejections. We just need the VIX. We just need the VIX to course correct and start going north. We're still moving $1.61 per 5-minute candle. IV starting to come down a little lower. Okay, we got that inside candle on the 5. The early break is below this low. On the 1. There we go. It has not triggered the 5 yet. Has not triggered the 5 yet. There we go. Nice rejection. Nice rejection there. Anyone catch that retrace reject? If you did, that was textbook. If you trade EMAs, right, that's a nice collision with that 9 EMA on the 5. So does this take us back to square one? Square one being 676.94. If it takes us back to square one, we sweep those lows. If we can stay above 676.52, that could potentially be that right shoulder forming. Okay? So there's major resistance. So if you took the sweep, you get that break, you get that push all the way there. That's more than $1.67. Okay? So you can find a way to get something out of $1.67. Okay, that 5-minute triggered back to downside. So there's a 5-minute dead cat bounce. You didn't get filled on a couple occasions, yeah. So the fills, especially Robinhood, when IV's high, when the market is moving aggressively, adds an additional layer, an additional obstacle. Why are the SPY options pricier? So keep in mind, guys, the market is a forward-looking mechanism. Okay, so the market is looking forward. So when we think of SPY option, the option contracts for SPY or any particular name, if the market can't price things in because it's a forward-looking mechanism and there's uncertainty, what it does is it gives itself more room for error. It gives itself more room for error, aka wider range. Right? It doesn't like uncertainty. So what happens is when there's no it doesn't like uncertainty, typically that the way that reflects on the contracts is something called volatility. Right? That widens as well. So when it moves aggressively, it becomes less uncertain. Right? It starts to trade in a wider range. So to compensate for that, to factor that into the contract's value significantly increases. Right? The cost of the contract significantly increases. Right? If you notice when SPY is range bound, right, or when the market is relatively certain, okay, the IV, implied volatility, is between 10, 15, maybe 20. Right? So the reason why the contracts are being impacted is because the IV, right, the volatility is increased. So now those contracts have to price in the movement of the underlying. They have to price it in. And then that causes those contracts to be more expensive. Okay? I know it's a long-winded answer, but you have to understand the mechanics behind the IV as well. And also the VIX. The VIX is at 22. Volatility index. Think of the VIX simply as a fear and greed gauge. Okay. See if that right shoulder forms. If those lows get swept, then that's off the table. And in this case, with this high IV, okay, with this high IV, with this high ATR, the worst of the worst case is chop. If it starts moving sideways for a period of time. All right. Okay, it looks like the VIX is starting to spike back the upside. The Qs look like they have a nice little breakdown brewing, guys. The Qs, nice flag on the Qs. Keep a close eye on that. Everything is just teetering, very, very close. So if we give up that 676.52, that monthly downside breaker, all right, 675 ahead. So they're fighting for this here, guys. The fight is for this territory. Some reversal patterns we can take out of here, inverse head and shoulder. So now we're starting to get that right shoulder forming. And let's see how we address that neckline up here. We do have POC right at that 677.19. So we're seeing buyers step in multiple times. That right shoulder, if you trade the right shoulder setup, okay, the SAT way, then you know what to look for. If you trade the inverse head and shoulder, the neckline is up there. So if you're looking for a reversal, you're going to have to get something that shows you signs of a reversal. If we can't get that neckline, it's just a dead cat bounce, struggling at POC. Get off Robinhood and all the rubbish platforms. If you want this as your profession, you must switch to IBKR. Yeah, you have to. Exactly. I do agree with that. You have to use good brokers, guys. Have multiple brokers as well. Multiple brokers, multiple accounts. And there's no penalty for having multiple accounts. Do you know why? Because they know the odds are in their favor. If you start trading, if you start funding the accounts, putting money in it, it's going to get liquidated. That's why the bar is so low. It's an easy grab. It's an easy grab. How we doing, strikers? How we doing, guys? Okay. Poll question from this morning was, is this the early stages of a 10% correction? So 79% of the chat said yes. 79% of the chat said yes. So for those of you who said yes, I'll give you my answer in just a few. 10% correction would lead us to B all the way here. Okay. All right, let's double check, verify. Yeah, right there. That's like right here. All right, just small adjustment. Okay. We're at all-time highs once again. Here we go. So, what that means, 10% correction. For the 10% correction, for us to get 10% correction, A, not financial advice, just for me, just reiterating it to myself. Okay, there's a tremendous area, all right, to potentially entertain leaps. Step one. So if we do get that, what that tells you is there's an opportunity that awaits. All right, just from my lens, you don't have to do that, but that's because now that 10% correction would require us to blast past that 100 MA, blast past this support zone, blast past the 5% correction territory, blast past this 200 EMA along with this strong support. Okay, and also fall below that and then get into here. All right, so it's very possible, but it's not going to happen without a fight. It's not going to just slice right through everything and just drop unless there's a huge, major catalyst that's unaccounted for. Okay, it's not possible intraday. We have circuit breakers in place. All right, so there's going to be an opportunity here to potentially entertain coming up soon. There's going to be an opportunity here to potentially entertain coming up soon. The 10% will lead us to 627.84. Okay, now, where does that put us in the bigger picture? We're going to take that 627.84 and put on a higher time frame chart. We'll put on the yearly. Okay, that puts us basically right at the heart of 2025's 50% retrace. Okay, slightly above it. Okay. So the year, so even though we do get the 10% correction, the yearly candle is still, in my opinion, is still bullish until we violate the 50% retrace because we took out that high. So I'm leaning towards that 10% correction being, again, not financial advice, a great opportunity for me. All right, so if we translate that to the month, the quarterly, where does that put us? 10% correction puts us into Q3's territory. Okay, that 9 EMA will probably try to catch up to it. So how many times have we tested that 9 EMA on the quarterly chart? Not many times. One. This was April. April, with that massive sell-off tariff shock, we couldn't even break below that 20. We couldn't even close below that 9, I should say. Okay. How about this? 2022, that major sell-off we saw in 2022. We couldn't even close below the 20 EMA. So the only time we closed below the 20 EMA on the quarterly, we couldn't even do it in COVID. Okay, was before. All right, doesn't even go back that far, right? We'll just say was here, 2011. Okay, SPY is dumping here, taking a leg lower. All right, so from my perspective, 10% correction. That's a great ad. All right, that's a great ad. That's an opportunity. 20%, whatever it is an opportunity. All right, but you have to understand from my lens, I'm not bearish about the overall stock market in the long term. So I am a bull. So the way I perceive things as a bull is corrections, sell-offs, crashes as opportunities. Bigger picture. Intraday, all right, I'm both. I'm just whatever gets the job done. I'm what the market pays me to be. I'm neither bullish or bearish. I'm just what the market pays me to be. And look at this. So we are starting to chop in this territory. Right? So that 10% correction is possible, but we're going to have to get through some critical areas. Critical areas. This market is so disconnected. The whole rally was starting in Japan when the rates have been zero for 30 years, and now the free cash is dying up. Folks, keep an eye on Japanese bonds. You're going to 200 EMA because that's where the liquidity is. I can see that as well. Your opportunity to buy will be around 2030, like the year 2030. So save your cash. This market will collapse. 2030. So put in the chat, okay, bigger picture, are you bullish or bearish on the chart, on SPY, or the entire U.S. equity market? Okay, So what that means is, what is your bigger picture line of thinking? Some people think we're going to continue to push higher, bigger picture 5 years from now. Some people think that. Same thing with Bitcoin, right? I'm not a big Bitcoin enthusiast, right? There's a lot of people who love Bitcoin. I don't love Bitcoin. I don't love it to the point where it has to be a major portion of my portfolio. I still don't see it as fully legit. Okay. So that's why I don't own any Bitcoin. If I have any Bitcoin, it's through ETFs. Right? Because if Bitcoin is going to go to 1 million, again, this is my line of thinking. Again, I'm not bullish on Bitcoin. I'm not someone who loves Bitcoin, swears by Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is going to do everything it needs to do. Right? But supposedly there's a lot of analysts who say Bitcoin 1 million, Bitcoin XYZ, whatever the number is. If Bitcoin does really go to 1 million, right? It doesn't really matter where you buy. From their lens. It's like saying this: if SPY is going to go to 1,000, I think I said that before. I said that SPY is going to go to 1,000 before Bitcoin goes to 250. All right, so since I'm bullish, if SPY is going to go to 1,000, which I think SPY will go to 1,000 before Bitcoin goes to 250, I'm not just buying SPY everywhere. Even though I'm bullish, I'm just strategically buying SPY in areas, right, that don't impact my entry price too much. I'm not recklessly buying. Right? Because if there's any drawdown, you don't want to be in the negative on a big portfolio because you didn't do your due diligence on waiting for those particular times. So same thing. So even if something, people say Bitcoin 2 million. Look, if it's going to go to 2 million, if it's going to go to 1 million, if it's going to go to 250, right? We're going to see it take place in front of our eyes. It's not going to just magically teleport to 2 million. Since we're active market participants, we're going to see it. We're going to see it grow. And Bitcoin, to me, Bitcoin is in UPO mode until proven otherwise. For the ones who adopted it early, absolutely. That's great. All right. For the ones who have the conviction from before it became mainstream, they're doing well. But especially the late adopters, to me, needs to be proven otherwise. Could I be wrong? Sure. But I don't want to sit in any asset with a large position for down 40%. Why do I have to do that? The whole point is to accept the volatility in day trading. Don't accept the volatility in long term. Okay, we already have a way to capture volatility. Volatility is opportunity. Day trading. You don't want volatility for long term. All right? So that's why Bitcoin to me is until proven otherwise. But I'm going to stand by that prediction, okay? So SPY 1,000 before Bitcoin 250,000. So to me, I'm bullish. So every crash, correction, pullback, I'm automatically going to see that as an opportunity. Someone who's bearish long-term on SPY, who's a bear, is going to see every push into all-time highs, right? Or every push near all-time highs as a potential crash incoming. Like at the end of the market. Right? So two different lenses, same market, two different perspectives. And both have the ability to operate and make money. Right, so two things can be true in the market. But if you want to bet against the market in a 20-year time horizon, you're just doing yourself a disservice. 30-year time horizon, you're just doing yourself a disservice. 40-year time horizon, you're doing yourself a disservice. Okay, so let's see what takes place off of those lows. We continue to bounce around, quadruple bottom, bounce, 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 rejection, rejection, rejection. This is just crushing all that premium. All that premium is getting eaten up. Bullish, so a lot of people are bullish. So if there is a 10% correction, all right, you're rubbing your hands together, you're salivating. All right, but if you're buying at all-time highs, okay, you're walking on eggshells. So we did the calculation last time to give you a relative idea. Okay, do the 52-week trailing method that I showed you a few streams ago to give you an idea where you are. Do you have a good position? If you're near that 50% territory, below that 50% territory on your entry, okay, you can withstand a little bit. If you're in the top end, the top quadrant, more than likely, right, you don't have the best entry. You're going to sit through a little bit of drawdown, but it doesn't mean it's not going to work out because it's long-term thinking. Right? It doesn't mean it's not going to work out. But it's just the back and forth and the mental capital that it requires. And if it's for long-term, you don't need to be checking your long-term every day. It's just set and forget. Right? You're basically putting your long-term dollars in prison. It's a prison sentence. All right, 20-year sentence. Okay. That's your sentence of 20 years. We'll see you in 20 years. But if you're constantly checking and you have that day trading mindset, swing trading mindset for the long term, it's very easy for you to get shaken out. Extracted 24% on IWM put. I have one runner going back and forth in and out of profit within risk. May close. May close out and sit for a minute. Good, good, good. Nice flag break on the Qs. Nice flag break on IW. That's working beautifully. Lynn, and happy birthday once again. Nice trade on a birthday. I think we do well when it's people's birthdays. Invest into China, folks. Charlie Munger stated the same before he passed away. China is very different to America. America is more tech and finance. China is more infrastructure developer. And they are developing under developed countries. China took 50 years. China looks 50 years ahead, not 24 months ahead. Gee, same question. If you are so confident in SPY 30 years, why buying SPY and not SPXL? For the same reason. That only, again, I'm looking for not leverage. I believe the leverage, SPXL is the leverage, right? So I don't want any chaos. Okay, no chaos, just very calm. Just give me that 8 to 12 to 13 to 15%. You don't have to do anything. Right? Because all the leverage, all the risk is allocated to day trading. That's where we take the most amount of risk. The higher time frame you go, the longer term you go, the less risk you're going to take. At least from my perspective. Right? If SPXL has leaps, if we do get to 10-15% correction, I don't mind taking SPXL for leaps instead of SPY. But I don't have a position in SPXL, so if I open up a position in SPXL, I have to pay today's price. All right, so I don't have any entry. I don't have any skin in the game on SPXL. Even though I can be bullish, again, like I was saying on Bitcoin, if Bitcoin is going to 2 million, or 1 million, it doesn't matter if you bought at 500,000 or 100,000. Technically, right? But the whole point for me is, even if I think SPY is going to 1,000, it doesn't mean I have to be irresponsible. I still can get the good entry points. You still can maybe dollar cost average. Because there are seasons when it does pull back. 1 to 3 years, you get 15-20%. So I'm not saying that doesn't exist at all. Right? But your entry price is the most important thing, because you can sit through more, and when you have a good entry, now if you make another addition to your position, you're not paying market price. Right? Your entry discounts the price. Does that make sense? So that's the whole point. That's the whole reason behind it. If those watching the stream, including George, I recommend all viewers type into YouTube the Japanese bond market and global market effect. Understand both markets. That's the canary in the coal mine. I'll definitely check that out. Let me just copy that real quick. Definitely check that out. First time for Tom C. If you're a first time viewer, let's know where you're joining from. Long time viewers, take the next steps. If you want to join our community, delay-free, ad-free stream, access all the day trading resources, courses, strategy videos, my pre-market game plan, my levels, everything you need that's available in our community. Take advantage. We're currently doing a trial for February. Use the code TRIAL30. The primary purpose of our community is to cultivate, right, a community of dedicated traders, focusing on process over profits. That's our whole purpose. Okay, so navigating these markets as a team, sharing the ideas and opportunities, and being there for one another. So if you are joining us, I did take one idea, 2 trades, stopped out on the first one. You can go back and rewind, and the second one worked in our favor. Both puts. Right? Of course, the puts went absolutely wild. So looking for another trade. I want us to potentially work our way out of this territory. I don't like the fact that we're just chopping around here. And also note the housing market is directly linked to the stock market, and the housing market is showing signs of stress. When that goes, everything will go with it. Yeah, I mean, things do take place. I mean, corrections, resets do happen. All right, but guess on the other side of the reset, other side of the correction, all right, there are winners. It's, of course, it's unfortunate for the people who end up being the casualty of the market movement, job loss, home loss. All those things are very unfortunate, right? But that's just the nature of the beast. At the same time, that's the irony, right? That's the irony. The irony is, I don't like to think of it like that, but one person's loss is another person's win. Right? But I don't like to think like that. But in reality, one person's loss forces them to lose or liquidate their position, whatever they have, for a lower price. And the person who can buy it takes it. Same thing with contracts. I buy the contracts at $1. Okay, I sell them for $1.50. Someone buys those same contracts for $1.50, and then they lose because they bought at the wrong price, and sell them back for $1. Right? That's just the nature of the beast. I mean, we don't make the rules of the game. We just play the game. But there are things that when market crashes, when major things take place in the market, real people will be impacted in a real way. All right, but the way I see it is, whatever you're going through, you can always use it as fuel, and always bounce back. It doesn't matter what the circumstance is. So even if you do get caught up and losing everything, all right, there is a way back. Okay, if you have strong faith, you have a good belief system, this world can't break you. This world is designed to break you. All right, so okay, see if this bounce here is legit. We're just chopping around. If we continue to stay contained between this box and this box up here, more chopping coming. Okay, Japan have to save the yen, and this will mean Japan dumping $1 trillion of U.S. bonds. So who holds the bonds? The U.S. government? I mean the Japanese government. All right, that was the back and forth with Greenland as well, right? The EU dumping all the U.S. bonds, right? But the government can't force institutions to dump the bonds. And if those bonds do get dumped, where does that capital go? Right? Capital just can't sit. Right? Capital just can't sit. Okay, that was a grab of those lows. Look at the Qs. I'm looking at the Qs here. Trap on the Qs. As long as we're range bound in this territory, there's nothing much. Okay, just brick wall trampoline. High stakes game of brick wall trampoline. High stakes game. Trades for the remainder of the day, you just basically grab a lows, grab a highs. I want to see if there's some sort of direction. I want to see if the IV can cool off. I want to see if those conditions can improve. If they can, that'd be great. If they don't, there's no sense in forcing the trades. Let's see if we can get 11:30 wrapped up. SPXL has leaps. Let's take a look at the spreads. Okay, but look at the spreads. There's I'm assuming that a chance, if I'm pronouncing that right, that's the bid and ask right there. $4 bid and ask spread. To me, that's horrible. All right. The reason why I love SPY is because how tight the spreads are. Pardon my French. Sticking to my green. Good. Okay. I'm not sure if I can read that. They should have a screenshot translation. So someone sends you a screenshot or a picture, and then you just look at it on your phone and then translate. It translates to the image. All right, and you have developers in the chat. You got to get on that. Anyone use the Google Translate or not the Google Translate, the AirPods with the Translate feature? I know a lot of you like to travel. Oh, discount broker. Okay, I was trying to see the bid and the ask. The bid and the ask. The rate will be over. Japan will dump the bonds. Interest rates will implode. Thus, hyperinflation. The rates will be over 8%. I like this trading, bro. Thank you for your time. New second-time listener. I just subscribed yesterday. Absolutely, guys. For the ones who've been tuning in for a long time, there's a ton of resources in our community you can really capitalize off of. We're cultivating a tremendous community. You can see our traders. No one is doing anything crazy. Everyone is focused. If people are getting stopped out, they're getting stopped out according to their plan. And we do have some traders that are green as well. All right, so we have all sorts of traders in our community. Have access to a ton of resources. You name it, we got it. If we don't have it, we'll get it. Okay. But in the meantime, if you're first-time viewers, continue to watch. All right, usually 3 to 5 episodes is when you start to gravitate towards the private community. But all this is available to you for free on YouTube as well. Okay, and I believe people who do have communities should be doing live trading. That's a good feature. Okay, so this is a SPY. You can see the spreads are a little bit wide, not as wide. $2. So I'll look at SPXL. It's not okay. Look at that bounce. Okay, we came into that second bounce zone. So this bounce zone, no signs of life. Second bounce zone, signs of life. And now we are finally starting to show some signs of life. So do we have enough fuel? Now, we got above that major resistance. Okay, major resistance was there, multiple rejections. If we come back into this territory, if we can hold that support, that provides an opportunity back into 670, 679.78. Okay, 679.78. PML is right there as well. So PML, let me remove this real quick. Okay. See how we interact. Is this a grab or is this a legitimate bounce? I like how the VIX continues to slide to the downside. VWAP is right there. We're at VWAP. We have the PML right here. So that's our runway. Is this a trap? If it is, vicious. Right there, it is vicious. If that's a trap, we get back below 678.18. That's vicious. We're seeing all the indexes getting close to their VWAP. The Qs are right there testing VWAP. SPY right there testing VWAP. See if we can hold above this level. Get that nice little bounce. Under VWAP, wave still waving to the downside. If you're waiting for that shooter, need that shooter to break. We're a few minutes away from third shift or second shift, a few minutes away. So do we bounce or break here? Do we bounce or break here? On days like today, it's always better to wait till the afternoon when the contracts have decayed due to the high IV. It requires patience. You will have to miss You will not miss anything by waiting, 100%. So eventually the IV will start coming down. So we need to get back. We need to get above VWAP. The Qs and SPY need to get above VWAP. IW and Dow are still below VWAP. So nice little bounce. See if this bounce can lead into that push above VWAP and eventually that test of that PML. Okay, so the bulls were able to rally off of this 676.52. Okay, we got below it, got above it, got below it, got above it, got below it. So no, they weren't allowing the selling. So this tells us moving forward, if we come back into this territory, all right, there's a lot of buyers here. A lot of buyers here. Okay, a lot of buyers. VIX falling off a cliff. Hourly starting to hammer. 15 already reversed. 5 is already in continuation mode. We're still not out of the fully in the clear yet. We're not fully in the clear yet. Let's get the likes up, guys. We're going to be wrapping up the stream at 12 o'clock. If you have any chart requests, put your chart requests in the chat. Now make sure to like the video. If we can get 50 likes, which is very doable, 50 likes before 1 o'clock. Okay, before 1 o'clock, before 12 o'clock, we will do a giveaway. And we'll talk about all the ways to join our community. Okay. We'll write out the orb as well, see if we can go shooter here. The VIX has been giving us some good reads, so we might need to let the VIX clear out. See if we can get one trade for the road. Let's see if we can get one more trade for the road. If we take a look at the one, Heikanashii on the one shows some strength. Heikanashii on the one shows strength here. But what is encouraging is this nice last little bounce here. That last little bounce, we got above those highs. As long as we can stay above 678.18, right, that's going to be a critical level to hold. We have a good chance of getting back to PML. But it is a fight, a lot of contention. You can see the wicks, the 5. If you jump over to the 5, this is what it looks like structurally. Okay, we came into these lows. We're reclaiming these very lows here. So is this just all just generating and grabbing all that liquidity down there? Okay, that will be determined on if we can stay above that this level here. Okay, that's gonna be where it's gonna be determined. All right. We're still IVs 35 ticking lower, ATR 154. So major resistance here, eventually turns into support. Okay, rejection, and now it turns into support. So we were going trampoline, brick wall. That's this last trampoline propelled us to break that brick wall. And now we're headed to that PML. Qs above VWAP. IW headed towards VWAP. Anyone catch that by any chance? Okay. Run or cut. Additional 10% profit. As much as I love trying to view my charts with TOS are more accurate in real time. That's making my trading more accurate. I may have to set charts with TOS as well. I do have a TOS account. How many people use TOS in our Discord? So put your broker, your broker just for day trading scalping. I think a majority are Webull and Robinhood. We do have a couple of TOS. TOS. TOS is decent platform. United States. So we're moving, seeing nice Heikanashis on the one, continuous push on SPY since 11:15. So no interruptions. All right, so that push above 678.15, 678.18. See if he gets into that 680.30. $680.30. But for the fills and options, trading view is always behind. Scrap twice, one prop firm for 200 plus. Scalp twice, one prop firm, $200. Beautiful. So if you are using props, what prop firms are you guys using? Top Step, Apex, Tradeify. What prop firms are you guys using? So now this 15-minute candle, new 15-minute candle here. Okay, we're probably gonna hit some exhaustion at that PML. All right. Tradeify and Tradeify. Now make sure to like the video on YouTube, guys. Make sure to like the video. Let's get the likes up. We'll do a quick check across the board. Let this last. So we're officially in a second shift. Second shift. We took first shift's lows out. First shift highs are all the way up here, of course. Second shift highs are right here. Second shift highs are right here. Second shift highs are right there. Do we reject off that PML? That's what it's looking like. Is this a peekaboo above VWAP? So do we peek above VWAP for a few minutes and then drop back below it? So VWAP 679.31. That's the VWAP on SPY. Okay, yeah. Weeble. And before you know it, guys, daily opens right there. So somewhat of a rounded bottom. Here. And the VIX, before you know it, the VIX is looking to crack 21 and get below 21. All right, so we're seeing some buying here. We're right at that PML. If we recapture daily open 680.94, that's going to be good news for the bulls. But look at this bounce. This bounce is monster bounce. Okay, we're above PML. See if we can stay above it because we're contending with second shift highs here. Right, if we can get above it, that'd be great. 5 minute, we're seeing nice buying there. 5, 10, 15, close to 20 minutes of buying here. The hourly is reversing as well. Hourly is reversing. Okay, we hit reverse on the hour. So this push to the upside is really being led by the Qs and SPY. That's what it's being led by. Okay, another key level here. SPY on the 5. Once it broke out of this downward compression, got back above those highs. Showing some signs of life. Is this it? Or does it continue to push into that daily that daily open? Right at that 680.94. Okay, nice reclaim of that PML. Nice reclaim of PML. Nice reclaim of PML. Yeah, I think the Weeble chart is fast as well. So if you take a look at the Weeble chart, right, I think they intentionally slow down the spot, the chart on what is it called, on the trading view. Because if you take a look at the candle side by side, I think there's a way to change that setting. Like, look, see, it's more erratic. See the difference? So we've been on a nice little streak here since 11:15, 11:16. See if we can go shooter here, and the VIX can go double bottom. That'd be great. If we can, I'll be there for the downside after grabbing those highs. Okay, but it needs to be clear. I'm going to wait for the VIX. We are above view up. We are trending to the upside, so want to see a clear slowdown on the 5. No slowdown. And even if I'm looking to buy, I want some sort of slowdown anyway. So there's two ways to approach the slowdown. Short the slowdown, or allow the slowdown to occur, to drop into a key area for us to get a bounce. So either way, we need some sort of slowdown. Some sort of slowdown. Let's get the likes up, guys. We got 41 people joining us. Let's get the likes up. Make sure to like the video. That tremendously helps the video. See a nice little drop here. Okay, what I'm looking for in this case apple bottom situation. Weakness on the 5. I'll look to take the a little further out, 677 puts. If we can break it below those candles lows on the 5. Basically, risk being daily open. Risk being daily open. We take out those lows on the 5, that'd be great. If we can't take out those lows, then we continue to push. Okay, I'll take it right there. I'm in the puts. Okay, see if that continue to push lower. I want that PML to hold. Stay with low PML. If you did take this, manage accordingly. Get some follow through here. Stay below this territory. So you get some follow through. Need some follow through here. Go, go, go. While it's dumping, if the VIX can start bouncing, that'd be great. Up 9, up 11. TP where you need to. TP where you need to. I'm going to take a majority off right there. See if we can continue to push lower. Runners on. Okay, I like how the VIX is bouncing here. Okay, no close above here. Already TP at 11. So no close above here in pursuit of seeing it back to view up at least. Starting to bounce again, down 5. If we close back above that PML, I'll get stopped out on the runners. Okay. Okay, about to get stopped out. See if I can wade through that with the runners. So just a quick drop. Want to see if there's any follow-through behind it. It is critical. In the meantime, we need the VIX to continue to push higher. We need the VIX to bounce. Looks a little flaggy to the back the upside. Okay, see if we can get that nice little drop. Okay, I'll close that right there. So stopped out on the runner there. Okay. Took advantage quickly, but couldn't get any follow through to the downside. All out. And now it probably wants to drop. Maybe could have been a little more patient. Still didn't close above it. All right. If you're still in that position, maybe sat through it a little longer, maybe a second longer than I did. Just make sure you have something to show for it at the end of the day when it's all said and done. All right, because what I don't want to get involved in is a back and forth. I don't want a back and forth ordeal. Don't want to get a back and forth ordeal. The 5 is still bearish. If the VIX can start to bounce here, right, still kind of front running the VIX, you're in good hands. But in the meantime, you don't want that PML to get violated. You don't want that PML to get violated. New 5-minute candle here as well. So today, I think I just been on the put side. Okay. Puts here, took puts there, took puts here again. Stopped out here. This worked in our favor. Took it here. Extract 11. Stopped out with the rest. Okay, now it's starting to go. I think it was just a little early for that entry. Right. So what I'm seeing take place from my lens, from my perspective, is I'm a little early. Right now you can see the VIX starting to bounce. Gives you the thing is if you're there by the time the VIX bounces, sometimes it's already gone. Okay. So anyone take that? That was the next idea. See if you can hold below VWAP. In the past few weeks, past 2 weeks, I got to do a better job with runners and just letting them cook. So that'll probably be the last trade on stream. Three trades, 2 ideas. Stopped out on one. Both worked out. 2 worked out. Could have done a better job managing the runners. Maybe extract a little more profit out of it. But a majority was taken out on both. We will do the end of the stream poll here shortly on YouTube, in the Google Meets, in the Discord, I should say. So critical retrace reject there. Nice retrace reject. To give you some context, those contracts, I had them at give me 1 second. At about 104. They're currently at $677. 120. So it's not like they're moving. So that's maybe high double digits, 20+%, 30, close to 30% maybe. See if that view up can hold. See if that view up can hold. Any questions on YouTube? So 80% of the chat thinks that we're going to have a 10% correction on SPY soon. So within first quarter or second quarter. All right, again, importance of taking profit. That's what I don't want to be a part of. Something like that at VWAP. Okay. So regardless, at the end of the day today, guys, this was not an easy day to navigate, to say the least. I know that I say that a lot, but you can clearly see today was not easy. Yesterday wasn't easy as well. That's why I'm not taking as many trades, because of the IV. All right, IV and all the conditions are not ideal. I'm going a little further dated. All right, so that's the way I'm mitigating the risk. And tomorrow is Ramp Down Friday. Tomorrow is Ramp Down Friday. So folks on YouTube, tomorrow is Free Trade Friday for the folks on YouTube. What that means is I will be sharing the link to the live stream, delay-free, ad-free live stream. I will be sharing that link to give you a small preview of what we do every single day in our community. Nice hammer at the VWAP. So make sure to come in tomorrow at 9:30 a.m. same time. We'll look to take advantage of the best opportunities, and we'll see where the market goes from here. As far as where the market is on the bigger picture, things are looking very interesting if this thing can go hammer. Check out the video, our midweek update video. I talk about what we could potentially look for. Midweek update. I'm going to start posting videos Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. All right, so update on the market on Monday, a midweek update, and a late week update as well. So the midweek update video, we talk about this territory. We want to see one particular candle in this area. And if you know, you know. But if those of you didn't watch, right, go watch and see, because there's a lot of value in that video. And I talk about reversal patterns and so forth. Okay, so go back and watch. But there's a particular thing I want to look for in this territory. By end of day, if we get that kind of activity, it does look appealing. Back the upside. And we flipped the day, guys. We flipped the day. We flipped the day. So we got that low. We finally got that higher low there. We flipped the day. So now, if the daily candle closes a hammer Friday, we can start to rally back up. But we still have a long time until then. But if the daily candle were to close just like this, the way I perceive it, as long as we don't gap down and we open up within that range, the top end of that range, above that 50% retrace, I'd be leaning towards a push back the upside. All right? But it's going to be predicated on how, where it opens up. Okay, where we close and where we open. All right, but we are starting to lean towards being a hammer on the daily. Don't forget that. And on the monthly, we did take out that monthly candle's lows, but we wicked immediately. So buyers said, we're going to pick it up right there. And yesterday we talked about the importance of that monthly. Okay, why? Because that monthly happens to be that weekly target. Okay, so that monthly was that weekly target. We took out that weekly low, we target that. Hit exhaustion, trigger the monthly. So on the weekly, as of now, unless we overthrow this candle, get back above it, and if we get back above the weekly open by the end of the day tomorrow, we're bearish. So the bull's best chance is to make this weekly candle a doji. Get it as close as possible to the weekly open by the end of the week. The bears' objective, okay, they got the lead. They can't blow the lead right now. They need to make sure we close below that 9 EMA on the weekly. We need to make sure we close below prior week's lows. The closer we close near that monthly downside breaker, the more of a chance that we have to come into this territory here. And we said it before, guys, it's not very often that SPY tests that 20 MA on the weekly. Hasn't happened since the April run-up. Before that, look how infrequent that is. It's a rare occurrence. All right, so we can anticipate some buying taking place there. And even before that, we're seeing the buying take place. Okay, so keep an eye on that daily candle tomorrow. We're now starting to push the upside. Okay. 50 MA. Good. All right, we'll look to wrap up the stream here on YouTube. If you're interested in joining our community, here's the ways. Go to smartactiontrade.com and pull it up. smartactiontrade.com. That's the only site to join. We do have our Whoop store as well. All right, you go to smartactiontraining.com. That's our official site. It's also a great tool for you to do your charting. It's also a great tool for you to use to check the economic calendar and as well as news as well. Okay, you can check your economic calendar. This can be your default area for economic calendar and news feed, free news feed. But if you do want to join our community, there's multiple ways to do it. There's a yearly plan. That's the best plan, of course. You save over $450, 12-month access, one payment, boot camp, a coaching call, all included. We have the Striker Lite. We have Striker Apex. The difference is these Apex, everything's included. All right, the course, the 6-hour course, the course bundles are included. The live, delay-free, ad-free stream is included. The pre-market prep stream is included. So everything's included. The Lite is like a technical version, okay? So you have access to the daily game plan. You have access to the chat. You have access to all the tools and resources outside of the delay-free ad-free stream. So for the folks on YouTube, there's a great way for you to get my game plan, for you to get the zones, for you to get all those good things, post-market recap, okay? And if you're ready to level up, this is the one. So use the code TRIAL30. All right, give this a shot as well. It's a very, very good trial. A trial for February as we migrate to Whoop. Take advantage. Courses, if you're looking to get educated, these are the two bundles we got going on, okay? Everything's within reach. Get yourself educated so you can be an active, educated, responsible market participant. All right, so 5-hour Get Start Day Trading course, that's available. Shockwave 15, and of course the 5-hour Get Start Day Trading course. All those are available to you, but if you are in the community, you have access to those courses. And more courses that we do record within the community will be available to you as well. Okay? So on that note, we'll wrap it up here. To recap, we did take 3 trades, stopped out on the first one. Second one worked in our favor. This thing just fell off a cliff. Theoretically, if you held this, you were basically, you're laughing to the bank multiple times. All right, but the thing is, we did have red folder catalyst in this situation. We waited for this territory here. We got that grab of that shift low, chop, chop, chop. We bounced. Once we did bounce, we accelerated, and then we got that puts to the downside here. A nice double-digit gain there and got stopped up with those runners. So where does this put us on the daily? If we get back above this daily downside breaker, that means we're back in prior day's range. All right, if you're looking for an engulfing candle, the most important level you need to pay attention to is 686.58. Okay, so now we're on the verge of getting back into the jaws of the gap down from this morning. All right, so in order for us to get to 50% retrace, if we do, that means we fill the gap. All right, so again, if you're going to continue to trade, just be very careful. Just keep an eye on the IV and keep an eye on all the usual metrics. Today's not a day to overtrade. Today's not a day to mismanage risk. Tomorrow we're going to look to close out the week strong. Tomorrow's Free Trade Friday, also Ramp Down Friday, and that's gonna be the first week of February officially in the books. On that note, guys, thank you for tuning in today. Hopefully you found value. Smash the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you guys tomorrow. Stay safe, and God bless each one of you.
Tired of wasting hours staring at charts, over-analyzing trades, and still ending the day with inconsistent results? You're not alone. That's exactly why the Spy Strikers Trading Mentorship Discord community was created. Here, you can trade just one ticker for 1 hour and make strides towards consistent results. Join the Spy Strikers community and get daily live trading, clear pre-market game plans with key levels and high-probability buy and sell zones, over 4 hours of delay-free, ad-free live trading and training, plus high win rate trade alerts, automated technicals that simplify charts, and full access to my strategies and indicators. This isn't a signal service. It's a community focused on process over profits, giving you all the resources, guidance, and training to help you succeed. You'll also get a full watch list, 1,500 plus hours of live trading videos, courses, an educational library, ebooks, and dedicated support. Stop guessing. Start trading with confidence. Become a Spy Striker today, and take your trading to the next level. Tired of wasting hours staring at charts, over-analyzing trades, and still ending the day with inconsistent results? You're not alone. That's exactly why the Spy Strikers Trading Mentorship Discord community was created. Here, you can trade just one ticker for 1 hour and make